Welcome to Movies, Films, and Flicks. I am Mark Hoffmeyer, and joining me is a man who owns one half of an AVP Director's Cut Special Edition DVD. It's Tony Benson.
Oh my gosh, what a freaking intro. And you're absolutely right. It is one half, and I have it framed. It's just one of those things. It's more than nostalgia. It's just a way of life. And
do you still have it?
Yes, I do.
You still have that DVD?
Yeah, man. It was like, I have the DVD and I have your poster somewhere or something. You got it in that Comic-Con thing. I thought it was just cool as hell. That's going to be with me forever. And I'd have a copy of Hercules, but that's a story for another day. But that was just on DirecTV or something. You fell asleep. But yes, I still have it. And I'm probably going to give it to my 4.5-year-old when he turns 7, so perhaps he can lose it. But
Did you ever pay my half of it back?
It was a gift.
I have 50-50. Didn't we split it? I don't know why we split it, but we decided to all right, so this is Tony Benson, and he and I met in college in 2003. And on this podcast, I'm trying to cover every single Paul W.S. Anderson film. And during this time, Tony and I sort of became obsessed with AVP, not because it's Pulp Fiction or a classic, but just because we couldn't stop yelling, "Don't turn your back on me," and other various lines. But we watched this, so all right, we first had the DVD, and then the unrated edition came out, and you and I split it. And then, so now you have the stakes. I'm out, $13 maybe, because that was an expensive DVD.
I was going to say, with the way it's gone in like pop culture and stuff, you probably could add on another $13 or so, maybe $13.50 for that matter.
I think you're pretty.
Was it the director's cut or the normal one? I was going through some research here, and I think it's the director's cut because it was PG-13.
Yep.
And somehow they added like some CGI blood or something like that, made it more, I don't know, special, if you will.
Yeah, they added 7 minutes in CGI blood for the R-rated cut.
Yeah, and actually, one of the better parts of the movie actually was the fact that it didn't have CGI. Like, the actual sets and stuff are pretty good. I rewatched it like recently or whatnot. It's just, to the audience or whatever, it's just one of those movies that it's just this random movie that we picked out back in 2003 or whatnot. Did we see it in theaters or did we?
No, because I saw it in St. Pete. I remember that.
Okay.
And then somehow we got a hold of the DVD, man. And we just became good friends about it.
You watch AVP? Yeah, I did. That's amazing. I haven't heard a lot of people that did that. Actually, it was really a lot of excitement around that movie. And then, because it was AVP, and it just kind of rolls off the tongue, man. Alien vs. Predator, there's no need to say that. You just need to say AVP.
Yep. Remember that time we'd be sitting there and I'm like, AVP? Yeah.
Maybe. Don't turn your back on me.
Yeah, don't turn your back on me, AVP.
Man. Yeah, it was, go ahead.
Oh, no, I love that you brought up the sets because they went to Prague, and I thought it was really interesting. So there's 2 commentaries on this, and I listened to both of them. And in the commentary, Paul Anderson was saying that to build all those sets, because this is I say only, but this is a $60 million movie. That's not that much. And so if they built the sets in LA, it would have been $20 million. If they did Toronto, 15, Berlin, 5. And where they shot in Prague, all of those sets, dude, guess how much those sets cost to build, all those sets?
I don't know.
$2 million.
Jesus.
Yeah, and they're big practical sets. I mean, they built.
No,
yeah.
That's actually that, like, it kind of encompasses the movie. Like, it looks, it's not like your typical, especially if you look at it now. Like, I think it's like a growing appreciation for it because it's not all CGI crap. Like, the sets they're actually kind of cool. Like, back in the day when you first saw it, we knew it wasn't going to – I mean, it's AVP for crying out loud. Like, you knew – like, the expectations are so low. Mm-hmm. It's like Freddy versus Jason of some sort. Like, but AVP – but, like, the sets itself were good. I was thinking about this before the podcast. Lance Henriksen, who's worth $24 million, and he's 79 years old. And I think he's from New York. And he's still alive and doing well. He encompasses his entire movie. Now, think of this. Just think in here. So – yeah, hold on. Yeah, I know it's bad when you start thinking, especially me. So he has this amazing voice, right? Like, even at the beginning of the movie, which I didn't pick up on until watching it afterwards, as of 2 weeks ago, because I knew this was coming. Like, those little knife trick he had when he was actually playing Bishop in Alien.
Yeah.
Like, you're thinking like, okay, this guy's pretty cool. And you hear his voice and his Lance. I can't even get that deep. It's just amazing. And you think this character is just going to be like everything on the surface seems just right until it's not. Until it's not. And for whatever reason, all that coolness and like it's just a fluttering like coolness, not cool, coolness, not cool. And then we harken back to, which I think is one of the best scenes in cinema, where he takes a blowtorch and basically just makes the alien, or makes the predator look cool before he kills him. And you think to yourself, and you think to yourself, why are you doing this? I mean, like, it wasn't even like in the movie, he wanted to go out with kind of a bang, like leave his legacy, but his legacy, he went out like a chump.
Chumpzilla.
And, and he had this breathing problem, and like they had this like Darth Vader thing where he couldn't really breathe all that well. That character, like the gravitas of what was, what is, and what could have been is encompassed in Lance Henriksen. That's why I'm going to keep that DVD forever. I was just kidding about giving it to my 6-year-old and having him lose it, or 4-year-old when he turns 6 and losing it. I'll never lose that DVD ever. And by the time we both turn 65 or something, it'll be worth like, it'll probably go down. No, it'll probably go down in value back to where it was when we bought it. So,
do you want to hear something funny?
Yes.
So in this movie, Lance Henriksen, in the script, it called for him to have a cold. He had a breathing problem. But when he flew to Prague, he was really jet lagged and he got sick because they filmed kind of during the winter out there. Not quite the winter, but still winterish times. And he's like, okay, well, I'll just foster this cold all throughout shooting. So when you listen to him cough, and we've listened to him cough many times in AVP, listen to those coughs again, because those are sick cough. Like, that's sick coughing. That's not, like, I got the black lung pop. This is from the chest, mucus. Like, so he, in the commentary, so it's a commentary with him, Sanaa Lathan, and Paul Anderson. He fostered this cold for shooting to make sure that those coughs were real. So he made himself sick for a long time while working on this.
Dude, that is legit. Like, as I actually recall, like, watching it, I'm like, you never thought that he wasn't sick. I'm like, damn, who could cough like that for real? I mean, it's like he's like, hey, give me a pack of Camels, and then I'm going to start coughing up a lung. But apparently, I mean, seriously, when you listen to it, and even, like I said, that's where the gravitas of that voice came. It all makes sense now. I didn't know. Of course, again, Mark Hoffmeyer goes way deeper and much more nuanced with theater than I ever could. But that's just something that I don't know if I should be happy about that now. I thought that it was just fantastic acting with the cough, but you're just saying it's just real life.
Yeah, he stayed sick. And you know what's wild, man? And this is why I want to cover a lot of Paul Anderson films. So, Paul, you know about his filmography with Mortal Kombat, the Resident Evil movies, Death Race, Pompeii, Three Musketeers, Event Horizon, Soldier. We've covered a decent amount of them on the podcast. And whenever I listen to commentaries, I just love listening to him because the dude just drops so much data on you, so much behind the scenes. And me, I worked on film sets for years, and I teach film. And I'm not saying that I'm going around teaching AVP to my students, but I love hearing how open he is about the flaws and what went well, what didn't go well, what they had to cheat, what they like. So I really like his movies because, like this movie, right, AVP, a lot of people crap on this movie. They really do. And, I mean, to a certain extent, that's fine. But what I do like about AVP is, I mean, it's thought through. So the Yautja or whatever predators come to Earth every 100 years. They get the little engine running. They get some humans there. The humans get in the sacrificial chamber. They get lit up. And then the Yautja predator teenagers go grab their laser packs and battle the xenomorphs so they can become like a rite of passage. So, I mean, they just need humans there. So, I mean, the plot makes sense, right? It's a thought out plot, I would say.
I would also add, like, the plot does make sense, and it should get more credit than it deserves. And I think you had it right when you said if you want to, dog in the movie, you can. There's lots of dog on, but it's not from a lack of trying.
Yes.
Like, how, like, it wasn't like there's fan service in there, but there's some nuanced stuff like that, like Lance Henderson's cough that I had no freaking clue about. But like that knife scene, or there's a scene there's callbacks to the movie. Sometimes there's a little too much where it's blatantly obvious, like you're one ugly looking, there's yeah, I know. That's the bad part. But there are certain things there if you didn't know about it and you had to research it, there is that. So again, and I go back to when you watch movies today, there is just so much CGI, and the costume stuff, and how they do the models and everything else, like it looks more real. I mean, the sets itself, and that was 2003 or 4 when it came out.
4, yeah.
It looks up. There's so many parts of that movie that look more real because it is real. And so, like I said, there's a certain appreciation. I had not watched that movie in a long time outside of 2003 to 5.
Yelling it all the time.
Yeah, and it was just kind of like a reference point because we kind of, you grow older. Like, I'm in Oklahoma, and you went from Florida to Atlanta or near Atlanta, Georgia. But anyway, no, I think it shouldn't be dogged on.
That was a nice tour guide you just gave us.
Thanks, man. Appreciate it.
You want to know something cool? So it's actually, I just want to say something. When you called me today, I was really worried that you were going to be like, "Hey, Mark, what's up, man? Hey, I got to cancel the podcast next week."
Hey, look, I thought about it, but I thought I'm just kidding. No, dude, that's one of the things or whatever. Like, in again, going back to AVP, like it represents everyone, like, has like their movies with their friends and stuff like that. Of course, Tombstone's so cliche. Everyone loves Tombstone, and this is relative to Lance Henriksen's real cough. Oh, the character
Val Kilmer?
No, not Val Kilmer. Ike Clanton. What the guy's real name? What's his real name, Mark? He played
Stephen Lang?
There you go. He was actually drunk the entire movie. And I thought to myself, damn, this guy looks totally drunk, and he looks it. Well, the fact is he was drunk, and that's why he looked it. And Henriksen had a terrible cough because, well, it's legit, and he had a cold. So I totally digress there. But the point is, though, is that AVP represented basically like an era for us. And I think that's what's cool about it. And I can guarantee you there's at least 3.5 or 4.5 other people, or maybe even 9.5 people, 9.5, that like this movie like we do and have some sort of connection to it. And I encourage the audience who's listening to this, just go back and watch it and just appreciate the special effects that are actually real. And there is a certain uniqueness to the movie, which is why people still talk about it today, to be frank. I mean, they didn't make – how many more sequels they make?
Well, they made AVP Requiem, and then they went, no. And then they made Predators, the one where Adrian Brody goes, and then they made The Predator. The Predator has a callback to this film. There's a scene where they find the spear with – like the spear that Lex had at the end of AVP in The Predator. Even though they say this movie isn't canon, the appearance of that sort of made it canon, but it's more of an Easter egg.
Well, there you go. I mean, and I guess that kind of proves the point that it does, I don't know if you'd say it has a following, but it's certainly not a bad movie. And it did kind of start, I mean, did AVP come out before Freddy vs. Jason and all these verse movies that came out?
It came out after.
Oh, okay. Well,
yeah. One thing I do like about it is that, Tom Woodruff Jr., this is a guy who won an Oscar for Death Becomes Her. He was on Alien 3, The Terminator, Aliens. He created Pumpkinhead. He was in Starship Troopers. He was nominated for an Oscar for The Santa Claus. And most recently, he came up with The Monster for a movie called The Monster. But he was the guy, Tom Woodruff Jr. This is one of the major effects guys, and he worked on this film. He's actually in the commentary of he does his commentary track for AVP. And it might be on your special edition DVD that you have. But what I love, though, they break down, like, they talk about all the different, like, so on set, everyone's like, we need the goo. Because in these ones, the aliens are very drippy. So they had 3 different kinds of goo, like really sticky, not so sticky, and really sticky. They talked about fitting the alien in here, the alien fights when it went from CGI. And these are guys, man. Like, this dude worked on, like, he's been nominated for Oscars. Like, he's worked on the creme de la creme movies. And during this commentary, these guys who have worked on every major movie you can think of, not all of them, of course, but they kept saying, wow, like the set, they love the set design in it. And I mean, for 2004, for a $60 million budget, I think you're right, man. It holds up. And I think there's a neat amount of, like, so the director, Paul Anderson, man, he wanted to have a claustrophobic vibe, but he didn't want to have it in space. So he's like, well, let's just do a pyramid that's enclosing on themselves. Like, let's do it like that. I know it's super intricate, but like you said, man, the idea was there, the trying was there. And I got something controversial for you, Tony, and I want to see what you think. You want to hear it?
Go ahead.
All right.
Yes.
Grid in this movie, the xenomorph, the one who.
He gets,
So that one goes. It kills Celtic, and then here I have all their names down here. I have all the predators' names. So they have names. There's Scar, Celtic, and Chopper. So first, Grid kills Chopper by stabbing him in the back and lifting him up, which I'm telling you, dude, how
Which
strong.
was a cool scene.
You know,
Yeah, dude, that was a really cool scene. That really was that alien versus predator. They're both looking at each other.
Yeah.
That really was what everybody really wanted to see, which, by the way, the movie needed to look good because you waited like 45, 50 minutes of Lance Henriksen coughing up a lung for like, I'm serious. Like, and that's the buildup. So again, going back to why the sets needed to look good, and they did. And I think like the build up to it, which I guess now you can appreciate more. But whenever you go into the theater or whenever you watch it for the first time, you think AVP, like you want to see it. You know what I mean? You want to see but you know, it didn't happen for a little bit, which but anyway, go ahead.
So he kills Chopper, right? And then he gets into that massive fight where it's a WWE brawl where he spins the thing around by its tail. He chops the tail off. The thing spits acid at him. I mean, they knock pillars over. And eventually, Celtic gets Grid with like that kind of wire mesh that wraps him up. But then its acid blood melts it. And then Grid is able to kill Celtic. So what I'm saying is this xenomorph, right? All right, so if you think about the original Alien, it killed the crew of the Nostromo, but they didn't know what they were up against. Then in Aliens, you had all the xenomorphs and the Queen Alien, right? But the Queen Alien ended up dying, lost to that loader. Totally fine, a classic scene. Alien 3, you have that cool dog alien, but it's still fighting humans. Alien Resurrection, you have that cuddly alien that gets all his guts sucked out through a window, which is really weird. But I think of all the xenomorphs, even I'm thinking Covenant, I'm thinking Prometheus, of the xenomorphs, not like the engineers. This is the baddest of all of them because it's not just killing humans or it doesn't have numbers. It takes out 2 predators in straight combat. Like, is there another xenomorph that's that badass?
Actually, no. It's what I think you said wasn't all that controversial whenever you explain it like that. I mean, it's profound when you think about it.
I want to be angry, but I can't.
No, I mean, it does do all that stuff. And like, wasn't there only a total of 3 predators? Well, during like the actual in the pyramid. I mean, there obviously there was a lot more in there, and they made it. It was interesting because they made them. It's like humans in a jungle. Like the humans are smarter, but the tiger, if they go 1-on-1, will end up beating without some sort of technology or whatnot. So the aliens are just vastly superior. However, you know, in the movie, you're right. That dude takes out 2. And it's fairly soon, by the way, when it actually goes to the actual AVP of the story, which is what everyone wanted to freaking see. And it finally happens. It's like, damn, we're down to 1.
And it kind of annoys me, though, that Grid doesn't get enough respect.
Grid.
That's his name.
Well, I mean, I know. The clever name, yeah. It does make a lot, yeah. I mean, he should get a lot more respect. And I think, by the way, how does Grid die, by the way?
Oh, so he kind of goes down like a chump.
That's right, I remember.
He's chasing Lex and Scar up that. There's a 2-mile tunnel, dude. A tunnel.
Yeah.
But he's chasing him up, and he or she can't get up the snow or the hole fast enough, and it gets smushed.
It's perfectly aligned too when you watch that scene. Like it's a perfectly done circle. I mean, just that's the pieces that you kind of miss a little bit when you watch it again. There were those little intricacies that the movie and the director made that I thought that you don't appreciate till afterwards. You really don't appreciate this movie going back again. You really don't appreciate the movie back in 2003, 4 or whatever as much as you would now. Because there's some crap out there today with far more of a budget. It's like, yeah, that's fake.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fake, and that's fake. And I think maybe, I mean, you're into this stuff, Mark. I mean, is it more expensive now to actually do the real thing versus a CGI type of thing? If it's like, you know, I understand there's versions of CGI that cost more than others, right? I mean, you can put in a lot of money for the stuff, but is it more expensive to actually have more real things in a movie outside versus CGI?
Yeah, absolutely.
I don't know.
Because when they were shooting, a funny story, when they were doing Event Horizon in the 90s, the opening shot of of a satellite took them 1 year to do, which means they had entire teams of people working on it for a year. So CGI was so much more expensive. But nowadays, with all this previs and James Cameron working on everything and Weta and ILM, they can really capture these things quickly. Now, these shots are expensive. They've come along, like, they're not as expensive in The Mummy, per se. So back in the day, The Mummy, like, each frame was incredibly expensive. Now they can knock it out. But where the cheapness comes in, so, like, on Captain America Civil War, at the end of it, when all the Avengers fight, they're supposedly at a massive airport. If you actually shot an airport like that, you need to rent every plane every day. You need to rent all the cars. You need to have a crew. You need to clear everything out. You need more PAs. But if you shoot it on the backwood at Pinewood in Atlanta, you just have the blue screen, green screen up, and then you only need 3-4 cars. So when there's a scene where all those cars drop from when Hawkeye shoots that thing and it lands on Iron Man, we dropped 2 cars. And then that became all those cars. So nowadays it's cheaper to do that because you're not paying for the rent, you're not paying for the rentals, you're not paying for the crew every day, all that kind of stuff. It's a lot less money to spend. You're not renting the place each day. So for some shoots, I would say CGI is the way to go now.
And that, my friends, ladies and gentlemen, is a professional commentary because there's no way in hell I ever would have thought of that. Ever. Yeah. Like, there's just no way. That's really cool, actually. But going back to AVP, yeah. I'm just kidding.
But I got to tell you, man, there's something, you're right. So a lot of these sets nowadays, they combine practical with CGI. And I was on like 150 plus sets, man. Like I worked on a ton of sets. And sometimes though, when you're able to walk through that real thing, there's nothing like it. Like there's just nothing like it.
Doesn't it help the actors though? You could tell. I think the biggest story, like where it would change the most, and of course, like and I respect both sides of it. But like the original Star Wars versus the newer ones with that green screen.
Yeah.
I mean, Ewan McGregor's a hell of an actor, and I think it's just tougher to act in a green screen environment, right? I mean, if you have a greasy looking alien looking at you with those teeth and stuff, I mean, how much acting do you really need to have to kind of get yourself worked up versus and you can just kind of tell. I mean, I watched what was I watching yesterday? 2012 with John Cusack flying around that little airplane or whatever, and he's like dodging, like there's like billions of people dying all at once. Yeah. He's kind of smiling and looking around. Like even my kid is like, boy, he thought it was a game. But like if you think about it, there's like 1.5 million people dying a second. I mean, that's not that fun, but Cusack thought it was. And it's just it was literally like burning my eyes out. It was just like, but it was like a Bad Boys 10 or a you went from Bad Boys 1 to Bad Boys 2. Like this, it just went totally out of whack, crazy. And that's where I think that's where a lot of my appreciation for AVP comes in even more. And again, I'm not saying it's a classic. I'm saying for us, it's like those movies you watch with your friends. That's just kind of, memorable, and it brings you back. And it's like a song. Mm-hmm. You think of a song or a food or whatever for the holidays. AVP is our holiday and our food. And again, I never would have thought in 2003, 4-ish that we'd be on a podcast for a 2020 talking about AVP. It's just amazing. But when you go back to it, you really do appreciate the work and effort they put in.
Oh yeah.
And it's just different because you're not really getting that. A lot of folks try to do it, I guess. They don't necessarily have the big budgets for it to do it. And like you said, I mean, you made the point. It's actually less expensive to do a little cheaper CGI to create the story versus doing something over the top like AVP, which really was. I mean, there's a lot of models there, and it took a lot of time to build those out. I would imagine that's probably where most of the cost went, to be honest, with the sets and the models and stuff for the aliens and the Predator, because they look good, dude. I went back and watched it. I'm like, this looks pretty good to me visually.
You know what's really tough is they were joking around about this on set, where like a lot of Tom Woodruff and the director and the actors. So a lot of the actors were kind of like, yeah, we're on set, we're ready. But every time you redo an alien, like, so you know how much goop were in those aliens' mouths. So every time that they needed a shot, they would put a bunch of goo in the alien, shoot it out, but then the alien kept dripping goo, so they had to wait 5 minutes, and then they had to put more stuff in. So the shooting schedule got longer, the days got longer, which means more money spent, because they had to, like, these guys on set, it's their job to make these creatures look perfect, and I think they did a really good job of that. I mean, the Predators are kind of beefy in this movie, though. They're like thick. But it was their job to make sure they looked excellent, and that's what kind of where a lot of the time was spent, was making them look good. So it's kind of interesting, right? Where, I don't know, I just like that process. It seems like it would have been slow, but it's pretty neat.
Well, again, you just appreciate it more today because you have a frame of reference over the past, however many years, since, 16 years, there's a huge frame of reference to what's coming out now. And by the way, that's not to dig on other stuff or whatever. I mean, everyone, we'll look back, 10 plus years at the movies that are coming out now with a different, frame of reference whenever you watch a movie and stuff like that. I think that's what they're there for, to be honest, or whatnot. And again, you don't want to. It's just one of those movies that is still out there. People know about it, but it's not really. It's kind of aged good, right?
Yeah.
It's just one of those. It's just one of those movies.
I mean, watch Indiana Jones, watch Back to the Future, watch Jurassic Park. I mean, there's a reason why Mad Max movies. I mean, look at those films. There's a reason why they age well. It's because, a lot of them were really well made. But I do think a lot of directors had big sets and their movies were still crap. So I think it's just the people who put the work into it.
Hey, here's some. I was going to say Waterworld, but I held my tongue because I'll tell you flat out, I liked Waterworld. I don't care what anybody says. I liked Waterworld. I don't know how the hell I'm even talking about Waterworld right now, but you're talking about real life sets.
Man. They used so much steel. Hawaii ran out of steel because they built that entire atoll.
That is amazing.
And they dragged it out to sea. Like it was nuts.
That is a movie that actually has grown better with time as well.
Well, yeah, except for the jet ski stuff.
That was pretty bad. Yeah. Yeah, that was but if you watch that, like you want to go AVP times 10, watch Waterworld. Like that exemplifies the good parts about AVP. I guess, the fight scenes are pretty decent too, by the way. There was some kind of cheesy stuff with that girl running with the freaking alien. They're all of a sudden friends. It'd be kind of cool if the alien just killed her. It's like,
no, man, Lex is great. Sanaa Lathan's awesome, man. What are you talking about? And I like that tradition of kind of having that. And I don't know. I dug her presence in there. I like Lex.
No. I thought they did a good job of versus the other stuff they put out. Was the last God, I didn't care about anybody. What was the last Predator they did?
Oh, yeah. It was The Predator. That was a belly flop. I think the biggest problem with this movie, though, is... All right, so I'm going to name some... can you name any of the characters? So I just said Lex, and you already know Bishop. Can you name any of the characters?
I just referenced them out to other movies, like the guy in Gladiator.
Yeah, exactly. Train Spotting.
Yeah, and he had a really cool voice before he died. Get out of here! How he talks, but he died. But that's a problem. And I thought dialogue was also an issue too. It's just like I said, they were trying. It wasn't like it was overtly, even though there are lines like you said twice. Harkening back to the old school. But I would say definitely that. I mean, that's kind of to answer your question. No.
Exactly. Like you have Sebastian DeRosa. You have Graham Miller, Maxwell Stafford, Mark Verheiden, Joe Connors, Adele Rousseau, Rustin Quinn, Thomas Parks. You don't know, none of these guys. All right, so I like Ewan Bremer because he's always like, yeah, I got kids, so he's dead. But I do like that when everything hit the fan, he was telling the Merc, we're gonna survive. And then I do like the scene where he's all gooped up with the alien goo, and he manages to get Gladiator's gun, and he shoots the face hugger before it gets on his face, and then the rest of the face huggers open up.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, he had a little bit of character development because he was on his phone, he was doing some stuff with his family or something like that, and
yeah.
But it's just like you felt pretty good. So, this guy's gonna make it. Which you kind of asked the question, why has he made it out so far? There's all of them flying around, but they just decided not to go for him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that made a lot of sense, but either way, he got his. But you're right. I don't recall anybody, but if you look at those movies, I'm trying to think of Alien Covenant, and then one of the engineers. Mark, what was the first one? Alien
Prometheus.
Prometheus.
Yeah.
There's a lot of hate and love for those movies. I thought, I wasn't a big Alien fan when they first came out. I mean, I watched them recently. Actually, I saw them on TV and stuff. I really watched them just 2 years ago. And I'm like, damn, this is really good.
They look great.
And then there's the third one. I wasn't whatever, but I thought they just took themselves too seriously, and I didn't get that. I didn't think it's this philosophical type of thing with him, on the second one, which I don't know why they made. It was with really bad with names.
Danny McBride's in it, and then there's some other people.
Fassbender. There's just some people in there or whatever. There's extras. I mean, the guy Eastbound and Down, that dude or whatever was in that second one. But I mean, they took it too seriously. I did not get that vibe from AVP. It was here's what it is. Here's what we're gonna do. The director had a plan. They're gonna do it, and they made some money. And they made some sequels from it. If it completely and totally flopped, I mean, this last the Predator. I don't know if they'll be making a Predator anytime soon.
No.
I mean, I saw that. And it was it's they went the exact opposite of not only are we not going to take ourselves seriously, we're going to make fun of ourselves at the same time times 50.
It's really funny you say that. I was listening to an interview from Martin Sheen. He joined David Tennant's podcast, and in the podcast, Martin Sheen was talking about he was playing this role, and he was like, "This is the best I've ever done." And he walked up to some revered actress, and he's like, "She's gonna tell me that was the best thing I've ever done." And the actress just looked at him and was like, "Be careful to not be so happy with yourself." And that's what I felt the new Predator was. It just seemed like it was very look at us. And AVP is just a scrappy little thing that I have a lot of friends who really aren't like into the pretentious films. They just want, if a movie is called Eating a Sandwich, they want someone to eat a sandwich and they're happy. Like that's what they want. And I remember talking to people about this movie after it was over, and they just said to me, "Mark, all I wanted, I love aliens, I love predators, I wanted to see them, and I wanted to see a fight. And I saw a fight, and I'm happy. It was worth my $8. And so, yeah, I mean, that's why this movie made 180 million worldwide. That's pretty good. And if you think about, all right, so get this. Predator 2, right? I liked Predator 2, but it didn't do well in theaters. And then you had Alien Resurrection, which is oofta. So it's not like this franchise had a lot of heat. Like, it was coming off of 2 movies that underperformed, and it overperformed. So, I mean, audiences must have liked it.
Well, no, again, they didn't take itself too seriously.
Yeah.
I came out of there like, well, I mean, I wasn't like dejected, right? I wasn't gosh, that was a waste. Or I was just like, yeah, I just like, the Predator grabbing that alien, swinging him across the freaking stone and having him hit stuff, and the special effects at the time, if you want to call them special effects, look good. And I saw some aliens. I do wish it would have been. You mentioned slime before. One of the little fun facts of it was PG-13. They actually rate it because of slime. Like, I don't know, they did. Like they said,
really?
PG-13 and violence. I don't know if they use the word gore or whatever, but they actually use the word slime.
I need to find that. That's amazing.
You need to find it, and it's slime. I think it said slime, but it was somewhere on goo, slime, whatever. And you mentioned goo a couple of times, how much goo they had to use. But I was like, that's where a lot of the angst came about the movie, where it's like the PG-13.
Oh yeah, the slime. When the alien queen was dropping out those Brussels sprouts
and the lightning everywhere. Yeah. By the way, why the hell was there lightning? Just so you know, if you go back and watch, there's a lightning storm around the Queen, and I don't know why there was freaking lightning.
Aliens.
It made no sense. There you go.
Hey, certainly. Now, the aliens, the xenomorphs, they're the good guys in this movie because they're kidnapped. They are in prison. They're the underlings. They're the ones that are they're the captives. So this alien queen who has thought, who has anger, who can rally all these aliens around, who has a higher thought, is kept in a stasis for these predators. So, and these predators, man, I've never been impressed too much with predators because once these guys realized they could get their laser cannons for their shoulders, they got wiped out by grid. And like Predator 1, like Tony, you and I aren't alien hunters. But if we could be invisible and we had heat-sinking cannons on our shoulders and we could heal,
we'd be pretty well off.
Nothing would. I mean, what? I guess that people hide in faraway spots and wait for an animal to come. So, but these guys, it's not too impressive, I guess, because they're blowing them up with heat-sinking cannons.
That's actually. I've thought about that for a long time, and I think maybe the director thought of that because he wiped out 2 predators pretty fast with grid. But I think you're right. If you're invisible, you got a cannon that basically aims itself. They go out like, hey, we're not going to die. We're going to blow up everybody else with us. You strip down like what the stuff they have or whatever, like towards, what Arnold did or whatever in Predator 1.
Yeah.
They're not, they're like Batman, but like 10 feet tall. Yeah. I mean, they have all the strength that you could possibly want, but without their tech or whatnot, they're just not, again, well, like you said it, if we were out there in the woods with being invisible, that's a pretty damn good advantage. And like that, they had no shot.
Yeah.
It's like, put yourself together, especially with humans, like, a heat-seeking, like, 2,000-year new weapon versus, granted, I don't have a pretty good gun or whatnot, but some sort of semi-automatic or automatic gun. I don't know. I've thought about it, but not the way you just described it. But maybe the director was thinking that way, too, because he took them out pretty fast. If you think about it.
Did you ever read the 1989 comic of Alien vs. Predator? Were you ever into those?
Yeah, so my cousin had one and I read it, and that was another piece of this movie too that needs to be appreciated because that comic was pretty good.
Yeah.
And if you go back, and there was a lull there, from when the first Predator came out, then they had those comics, and everybody wanted to see. And of course, Danny Glover, where they saw the alien when he went into the spaceship, and he saw a piece of the alien.
Mm-hmm.
They've been wanting to have like this movie for quite a bit, and that's a lot of build up. And if there was major disappointment, I don't think it would have made money.
Yeah.
Like if you look at the box office, and like it actually it was nice and steady. And in fact, kind of like the movie, to be frank, it was not overwhelming. It wasn't underwhelming. You got what you saw or wanted to see, and then you left. That's really what it was. If they would have followed more of the comic, I think they could have been in a little better shape. But it's tough to do with that. It was coming around that time of technology where they really couldn't make those kind of movies from the comics. I guess they could, but it would have been pretty tough, with that kind of character.
All right, so I got 2 facts for you before we go on break here. So one fact is Braveheart's name, Tommy Flanagan, his character's name was Mark Verheiden. That's the writer of the Dark Horse comic book. So that Easter egg is in there. Then 2, in the beginning, when Sanaa Lathan Lex is climbing on that ice frozen waterfall, they went to the Italian Alps, and that is the highest set ever built. They had a stuntman on that, but this production designer went out on the Italian Alps and built a 20-foot set, put a bunch of water on it, froze. They flew Sanaa Lathan out there in negative 30-degree weather, and she was actually climbing that in the Italian Alps. And at the time, it was the highest set ever built. How do you feel about that?
That, again, goes back to my point of why I like the movie.
Yep. They built it, right? They built it.
Again, when you know that type of stuff, you can see it in the movie itself on the build-up. And it's like the director, again, knew, like, everybody's wanting to see Alien versus Predator. You're going to have to wait. But until that time, we're going to make things look pretty damn good. That's really what I thought. I think that was his plan. Like, you have movies that really don't have plans or kind of shuffled together. There's like 50 million scenes within like 30 seconds. That's another thing, too, in the movie. Like, in the fight scenes, it wasn't there was actually sets, not sets, but the cut scenes and stuff were actually fairly long.
Yeah, the choreography.
Like, they weren't like cut. I mean, I can't stand that. But I know you mentioned break or whatever. So yeah, very. I got to keep me on pace here.
Let's take a quick break, and when we come back, I got some more fun facts for you. How's that sound?
Sounds good, brother.
All right, we'll be right back. Welcome back to Movies, Films, and Flicks. And I got to tell y'all something. So Tony and I, in 2004, 2005, we're big Star Wars fans. We still are. And we were challenged. So I bought a Star Wars Trivia Pursuit with a DVD at Barnes & Noble for about $50. And we were challenged.
It was legit.
It was a good one. And we were challenged by 2 super Star Wars fans who had full-on tattoo sleeves of everything Star Wars.
This guy had a Rebel Alliance tattoo on his freaking, and it wasn't a small one. Like, it was legit Rebel Alliance. His uncle could have been Wedge.
Yeah, I mean these guys, but I mean they were like real, like legit sleeved up, love Star Wars, and we wiped the floor with them, man, in Star Wars Trivia Pursuit.
That was one of the more glorious. When you play sports, like you win the last shot or whatever, or and whatever like level of sports you played or whatever, you have that moment of glory. I would put that moment of glory when we beat those guys in trivia up there with anything in my life, because I will tell you, like, those guys were so, when we beat them. Oh
man, yeah,
they were devastated. And I forgot some of the questions that the trivia thing asked, and I forgot what the winning was. They just like looked at us like, what the hell?
They were mad. they were mad. So
actually. Yeah, and this is during the time of, was 03, no.
Yeah, I don't think Revenge of the Sith was yet. I think we did it before Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, so there's a lot of build-up. I mean, there was everybody, a lot of build-up for that stuff or whatnot, but they were legit angry. And we went over to their house, too. We brought the game over. We brought the game over to their house. Did we even know these people?
Yeah, they were my good friends. I worked with them at the bar. At Big Daddy's.
Okay.
Yeah, so like I worked with them. Like we were all friends. But they sort of transformed. So you and I, we weren't like, I think you and I kind of thought we were gonna lose, and we were just like, hey, let's go hang out, drink some cheap beer, have some fun. Like it'll be a fun time. When we started winning, I think that's when it kind of got real for us. But they got real serious, and the vibe got a little weird, and then you were nailing questions. They're like, So in Empire Strikes Back, there's a scene on Cloud City where 17 people walk by. What was the person in the right, left, center, front wearing? And then you were like, they were wearing khakis with an orange top and a blue hat. And then that's correct. Like, you were on fire for that thing.
It just came out of me, dude. It was an unbelievable moment, and we were asked to leave quickly after we won, which made it all the more slick. And that was legit, dude.
They got very sullen, and I always because then I saw them probably that night working, and I was like, "What's up, guys?" And they're like, they were mad at me for a couple of days.
Dude, if I got beaten trivia and I had a Star Wars tattoo, I'd be pretty pissed off too. Nothing against that, by the way. You got a Star Wars tattoo, that is perfectly fine. Whatever you want to have,
awesome.
Whatever. I think that's awesome. Yeah. In fact, that's the first thing I noticed, and probably that's where we're like a little trivia. You probably saw his damn tattoos. So
yeah, and then,
that was an amazing story.
Yeah, and then,
well done.
But I mean, that was good, man. It shows our nerd credentials back in the day. Can I drop a couple more weird facts on you here?
Yes.
All right. So, when you watch a lot of films, and I've worked on some that use fake snow, and you watch maybe Hallmark movies or all these movies these Christmas movies on Hallmark and Lifetime, they shoot not during Christmas because they're May, April, and then they edit them, then they release them during the Christmas time. So there's never snow on the ground. So a lot of them use like spray foam, or they just have these cloth that they put over trees, and like it never looks good. It always looks bad. But in AVP, what I found out was Paul Anderson said that potatoes, they make the best looking snow, but you don't want to use them because sets get really hot and then they turn into mashed potatoes. So you don't want to use those. But they use foam that they would blast into the air, and then as it was dropping, they would do a take and they would yell cut, blast it in the air again. But the fake snow in this movie, at least when they're standing there with it coming by them, I loved it. I liked the fake snow in this movie a lot, and it was kind of foam consistency.
So go back to the potatoes. Like, so what they use those for again?
So you can chop up potatoes really thin, and then you can spray them, and it looks like snow.
I'll be damned.
But see, the cleanup, man, that's why you don't do it. So it's kind of the thing where it's the best, but you also have mashed potatoes on the floor.
Well, it depends on how you cook the potatoes. You peel a potato, and it turns brown, but I guess they were using some sort of like mashed potato. That's dude. That again, coming from you, that's something you would freaking know. That's the kind of stuff you should get. That's amazing.
Yeah, I have that tattoo on me right now, actually. So, what do you think about the whole backstory? So they came into what 2000 BC, and they taught everybody how to. So let's see. So this is the timeline. This is the timeline. Yeah. In 3.2 billion BC. An engineer sacrificed himself to seed an Earth-like planet, possibly Earth, with the building blocks of life. In 2996 BC, the predators or Yautja arrive on Earth, and they teach humans to build pyramids and are worshipped as gods. However, so they only do that for 10 years. And then the aliens take over, according to this timeline. So they build all these pyramids. Yeah, whoops. They
blow it up.
Oh, wait, no, I'm sorry. In 100 years. I apologize. So they teach them how to do it.
That's still a pretty short timeline.
Yeah, and so they get wiped out. But then they keep hunting. Again, so what do you think about this whole pyramid? Because pyramids have been found on every almost continent. So, like, what do you think about that back plot?
It comes out of left field, but I think you appreciate it when you watch it because it's just a cool little scene. Like, the people sacrificing themselves. I mean, and for the record, I think Ridley Scott stole the hell out of that with his Alien Covenant and, it's Prometheus. If you think about it, there's certain elements to that storyline with the aliens and you mentioned the engineer or whatever, but like that whole concept of I guess the predators in this case would be the engineers, but that concept of like, hoarding over them or whatnot. Yeah. I think it's not all of it, okay? Like a certain, maybe 20%, 25, you can do a percent on it, but there's certain elements to that where, they took that. So apparently Ridley Scott liked it. I think, again, it was a little strange. And when you like kind of think about the timeline, you're thinking to yourself, again, that's not all that impressive. And then like you just see him, like you see one like blow himself up. It's like, that's again, pretty cool tech. It looks like it blew up the world. We mentioned like Star Wars. They do have a Death Star on his freaking wrist. So anyway,
how powerful is that?
I know, dude, I know. I mean, he blew up the entire. It's like, and like they're like celebrating up. They're like, "Hey, we did it! What did you do?
Yeah,
you like it's like you did all this stuff or whatever, and they took you up. Like, what kind of hunters? And if you go back and listen to the commentary, like they're saying this is how they prove their manhood and like, you know, they're how they graduate or whatever the hell the predators do. But apparently not too many graduated because the aliens just kept coming.
How expensive
I
is it to create hunters, man? So you build all these places, and in Predators, they have to kidnap people from around the world, fly to a planet, and drop them off in pods. Like, how much money are you spending to teach people how to hunt?
I don't know. I was just trying to think of like I don't know, to answer your question, a lot. And, you know, I was trying to go back to like some sort of analogy where, you know, the Greeks in 300 or whatever, they really screwed things up in like 15, you know, or 3 years or something like that. It's like, would they be remembered? I just don't. Again, it came out of left field when you're watching it. You appreciated it because it's like, okay, well, that's, you know, they're really going back to the backstory and you know, I guess it brings some mythology to it, I guess. I don't know. Like some weird gravitas to the movie. Although Lance Henriksen does it for me with that cough, but he didn't need to do that. Anyway.
It makes the xenomorphs seem, or I'm sorry, it makes the predators seem kind of like bozos. Not bozos, but they keep failing, right?
I think there certainly was, again, if you call it, is it really bias if it's the truth, right? I mean, so the director, if I say the director had bias towards the Predators, but you and I talked about it, we kind of agree that Predators aren't all that impressive. I mean, they're impressive, okay? I mean, they got some cool tech, they're big, you know, they got Death Stars in their freaking wrist, but it comes to a point where it's like, are they really that special? And like, they can't even get things right like that. If it's like they created a controlled environment, lost control in a really, really short period of time, especially when you start talking about timelines of, what'd you say it was? 3,000 or something?
Yeah, 2996.
Okay, so put yourself into a real world scenario of actual nations. 100 years ain't exactly a long time.
Yeah, you're right.
It ain't exactly from actual historical context of actual nations, you know, 100 years.
Yeah.
The United States is a pretty new country. We've been around more than 100 years. We're doing better. Hey, in this time, we're doing better than the Predators. But I don't know if that's saying a hell of a lot, to be frank.
And
so,
do you think this line should have been left in? So there's a scene where Lex says that she's like, wait, we're fighting alien predators? Or, oh no, we're fighting teenagers. So these predators don't have their stripes yet. They are going to they're kind of going to prove their manhood. So I like the comment where she says, though this line was cut from the final script, and both Sanaa Lathan and Lance Henriksen were calling Anderson out for it. And then he got a little defensive. And then Sanaa Lathan was like, yo, don't get defensive. And then they drank red wine, which was kind of fun. But I kind of like, would you have liked that line in there, or is that too much?
I think, so you said he took it out because I don't remember, like, was it in the director? Like,
no, it wasn't even in the director's cut. They just filmed it on set and then didn't even make it into the director's.
I think that might have been, again, going back to the director's, like, again, if you want to call it bias, but like to the Predators, if they're teenagers, that makes the aliens beating them up as badly as they did. Although it's kind of assumed that, though. At the end, an alien gives her like, you know, her little scar or whatever. That's how she survives. Yeah. And it actually showed an older alien or a predator coming out. Like, he looked way different than the younger ones or whatnot.
Awesome. So these are definitely, he looked awesome, didn't he?
Yeah, he did actually. Like, again, I mean, you look at that, it's like, that looks legit, dude. I mean, he looks, that's a lot of freaking work on that, man. That probably took, I know, actually, yeah, when he turned around, he did a little, I don't know what you call it, like a little flip around or whatever. But how much time would that take? But anyway, like again, it made the Predators look, if he would have said they're actually very young and like learning or whatnot, you can kind of see why. And actually, I'd like to get a number on this. Like, I wonder how long in the movie, when they first get introduced, the Predators first get introduced to the aliens, because the Predators find the humans first, they knock them out, right? Yeah. It's like, oh my God, he has a gun, he's dead. And like, they're disappeared, hiding up in a corner, and they blast him. I mean, it's like, oh, he's dead. That's cool, I guess. Why would you? But then when they actually meet the aliens, it's not that long, dude. I'd like to get a number on how long did it actually take for two Predators to get knocked out at the time of them actually meeting the alien.
47 minutes.
Wow.
I mean, because another good thing about this movie, man, it's only 100 minutes long with credits.
Yeah, any longer, it doesn't work.
The credits are 11 minutes. Paul Anderson joked about that, and they did it to make the movie seem longer. The final credits were 11 minutes.
How long was the movie again?
Well, 100. So it's total like 90 minutes of film, which is almost perfect, man. Give me a 90-minute movie.
No, that's all you want. I mean, it's not like you're not going to get. They had enough character development to where, like, you kind of felt like that guy with the gun, right? I mean, they tried. like I said, the dialogue at times were a little weird,
Yeah.
but the characters you kind of felt out, and they did a good job with that in the first Alien, where it's like they really built up the character. But to do that, the movie is what it is. Again, not taking itself too seriously. And if you don't take itself too seriously, I think it works out for what the audience wanted to see. I wanted to see aliens fight Predator. That's it. And the humans were just kind of in the way. I guess, the only beef I kind of have with it to an extent would be like the dialogue, but it's just taking a little bit too long. But maybe that's part of the charm of the movie. Like you're waiting that entire time to finally see it. And when you do see it, it's like, oh, okay, well, I feel good about that.
It was kind of interesting what Anderson said. He's like, you don't want to show that much of them, but he's like, you're making Alien versus Predator. You need to show a lot of them. So they just kind of had to base their budget around a couple major set pieces because that's all the money they had for that. So
and that's a piece, Mark, that you can kind of bring in. I mean, people don't, I'm not as intricate in this stuff as you are, whatever. So whenever you see those type of things or whatnot, and like you have to go by that budget, like it makes you perhaps appreciate it even more, or what they have to do, what kind of budgets they have to work with. If you have an unlimited budget and your movie still kind of doesn't work, and there's outside stuff to that as well. But again, going back to the appreciation of the movie, why it is not a bad movie in my opinion.
No.
Like when it first came out, people just assumed it was, maybe by the title, I guess, or maybe just because it's like, I don't know. I mean, probably the Versus movies that you talked about before, you said that they came out before, it didn't help it.
Yeah.
You would assume, because those weren't that, yeah. But it's sort of, yeah.
Oh, no, I'm sorry. I totally interrupted you here, but you love it. It's great. We've been friends for a long time. It's fine, right?
There's nothing you can do to really insult me. In fact, I can not talk to you for 4 years and just say, hey, what's up, Doug? And I can right back to where it is. Alex showed up at your house and, hey, man, let's have a drink. Although your AC needs to work better upstairs. Anyway,
right, I'm going to give you guys, so you're not hearing nothing but in-jokes, because that's what Tony and I have. So I met Tony in Florida State. I was like 250, just had a knee surgery. I was walking around on crutches. And I was walking around. Everyone knew I was looking for the Spanish class at FSU, and no one told me. So I was going around on crutches. No one told me. So Tony and I remained good friends. He moved away. I moved away. And then, let's see. I went to visit Tony one time, but I was working Comic-Con. So you and your wife made me a beautiful steak dinner, had Crown Royal, Monarch, and I fell asleep 10 minutes into a movie. And then you were supposed to come to my wedding, and on the day of the wedding, you called me, and you're like, hey, man, I can't make the wedding. And next week. You thought it was the week following. So when you're hearing all these in-jokes, that's where they come from.
Hey, think about this, audience. A good buddy, good friend, known for a long time. First of all, he picks up my call. That's amazing. It's like, why is this guy calling me? Is he looking for directions? No, he's just saying he's not going to make it because he thinks it's a week later. How he handled that call, this is just it's not an insight. This is just insight and ways you should handle situations like Mark Hoffmeyer did. He just totally thought it was totally cool. It was like, hey, well, we'll catch you next time, man. I'm like, yeah, that sounds good, man. I'll talk to you later. All right, see ya.
It's all good, man.
Yeah. And so it just, again, and maybe that's because of AVP. I don't really freaking know at this point. I don't really, it's just people, they move and do their thing or whatnot. And
you bond over AVP. But that was the quote, man. Don't turn your back. Hey, whoa, don't turn your back on me. So you and I don't talk for 4 years, and we'll be like, hey, man, what's up? We didn't turn our backs on each other.
So maybe that was, yeah, go ahead.
Okay, I know I'm interrupting, but I found a really cool interview, man. I'm really excited to tell you about. Can I do this here? All right, so James Cameron was interviewed by Ain't It Cool News about 10 years ago. He was interviewed by this guy named Quint. And this guy named Quint was sitting there just complaining, I don't like AVP. It messes with the timeline. Jim Cameron goes, well, I don't know, man. He's like, it's like my third favorite Alien film. And the guy was complaining about the incubation because, let's face it, man, when the face huggers get on these people and then the alien spews, they're full-grown aliens in 3 seconds. I don't know how they're able to grow that fast. Black goo, who cares? But Cameron said, well, it starts to become a video game. It's like, okay, that can be in him and that can show up over here. It becomes more metaphorical or more comic book. I don't mean comic book in a negative way. I just mean that's working at a kind of mythic, metaphoric level as opposed to really try to immerse you in reality. I mean, I felt when I was making Aliens, I think the same thing Ridley was doing with Alien, which is I'm going to make you think this is real, even though it's completely ridiculous deep space adventure. We were going to make you feel like it's real. It's a question of does the film take itself seriously or not. So I think he was just saying Anderson knew that he couldn't make a movie as serious or Alien or Aliens because it's Alien versus Predator. And Jim Cameron I mean, one of the most successful directors of all time, complimented Paul Anderson on what he did. He understood why he did it. And I kind of like that this guy was being all whiny about it and Cameron shut him down. So I don't know. Did you ever think like, man, these aliens are becoming aliens quick in this movie?
No, I mean, no. I mean, I really never had time to think about it, really. Maybe if it was 2.5, 3 hours long and it did take itself seriously, which is interesting. I wasn't aware of that quote, how he said it. And in fact, that's what we were talking about before. It didn't take itself too seriously.
No.
Why would it?
Yeah.
Why would it?
Yeah,
it's
what's the
AVP,
reason?
man.
Yeah.
You know, it's in. I don't know why the hell I thought about Rocky, but you look at Rocky 1, right? Absolute serious. Oscar winning, and then Rocky 2 kind of the same. Then Rocky 3 got a little crazy.
Oh yeah, insane.
Thunder Lips, The Ultimate Male. Then you got Rocky 4. We're gonna take ourselves nuts. I mean, it's like a total montage. It's like and I think you just kind of get a feel for what the movies are. We did serious, right? I mean, we can't really create that. We can recreate it 30 years down the road when actual people have passed on or whatever, and we did Rocky Balboa. I'm not digressing from the actual topic of AVP. It's the directors understanding what they have in front of them. And how the hell could you take yourself seriously with the title Alien vs. Predator? It's a freaking WWF or WWE match.
Yeah.
That's what it is. And that's what you came to see. You came to see a fight. And if you came to see a fight, there needs to be some build-up, some good sets. And I guess it wouldn't be underground, but the knowledge you have about the movie makes me appreciate it that much more. Again, neither one of us, I guess I can speak for you. Neither one of us are saying this is Oscar material and the best thing since sliced bread. I think what we're both saying is that it's grown over time. Mm-hmm. It actually wasn't. It wasn't a heralded movie, but it wasn't one that was tarnished. It wasn't dogged or whatever. No one came out of there and said, "Oh, that movie sucked." Yeah. I never talked to anybody that. But
did you notice the
it
thing
was
in the
what
beginning?
it was, and I think.
Oh, sorry. Go for it.
No, it was what it was, and the directors and everybody knew it. And I think today you can kind of appreciate in the world of everyone being so serious.
Yeah.
AVP did not.
Let's do a Lance Hendrickson draft, and we'll put it up on Movies, Films, and Flicks Facebook. So here's what's going to happen. We're each going to pick 5 Lance Hendrickson films. I'll let you have the first pick. And it's just going to be a draft. You pick one, I pick one, you pick one, I pick one. If you pick one, I can't pick that. And then I'm going to put it up on Movies, Films, and Flicks Facebook. We'll have people vote on it. How's that sound? So you get first pick. What Lance Hendrickson movie you picking first?
AVP.
Well, really?
Don't turn your back on me. One of his best lines.
Oh.
I mean, it's up there with the Tombstone line.
All right, I'll give you AVP if you want it.
I want it.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool. I'll take... Oh, since you did that, I'm not going to pick one of his big ones. I'll do Hard Target.
You pick Hard Target. Oh, dang.
I'm not going to go for a ringer. Yeah, I mean, you went for AVP. I can't just go for Aliens.
Of course I would. I mean, we're talking about it. I mean, it makes a lot of sense to me. Gosh, now I can think about it. It's a darn... I know. he's almost 80.
Yep.
I said he's 79 years old. I mean, he's been around a long time.
All right, so what are you gonna do?
You mentioned wasn't he in Pumpkinhead?
Yeah, you want that one?
Yeah, because you mentioned it before in the podcast. I'll take that one.
Pumpkinhead. So I'll do Near Dark because I love that movie.
I can't do any more Aliens vs. Predator or Aliens.
You could do Aliens.
I mean, he's mainly wasn't his breakout role Aliens when he was Bishop?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. I'll go with that one.
Oh man. All right. So now I gotta go pretentious. I'm not gonna do the Terminator. Oh, he's in The Right Stuff. Jeez Louise. Man, he's Omen 2, The Visitor. Oh, he's in Dog Day Afternoon. This guy.
And actually, you mentioned the Terminator. I mean, I forgot. I mean, now that you mentioned like in the police station scene or whatnot, I remember that.
Oh man. Oh wait, here I'm gonna do The Quick and the Dead. I'm doing The Quick and the Dead.
Oh, Quick and the Dead. What character was he in that?
He was the braggadocious gunfighter that gets killed.
Was he wearing the aces on his chaps?
Yeah.
I'll be darned.
Yep. That's a good one.
That's a very good one. Do I have one more?
No, you have 3 more.
Oh Jesus. If he's been in everything, that means he's been in nothing. He can't keep up with it.
You can look at IMDb if you want.
No, I'm about to look it up now because I'm about out. Like I said, I mean, I know he's in Terminator when you said it.
The guy works, man.
It's that voice.
He was in No Escape.
He has a great voice.
Oh yeah, he was in Mom and Dad. He played Nick Cage's dad. He was in 3 Bigfoot films in a row. We used to joke around about that.
Your knowledge is unbelievable.
What do you got?
Just gotta pick one out. The Terminator.
That's evil, man.
Come on, dude.
I'll
if you were to
give it
ask
to you.
anybody, you should have cut me a break. Give 5 Lance Henriksen movies. He's been around forever, but like I said, that means that it's really hard to tell what the hell he's actually been in.
I'm surprised you didn't pick Abominable or Sasquatch Mountain.
I'm leaving those for you.
All right. So I could do Dog Day Afternoon. I could do The Right Stuff. Man, you know what? I'm going to go stupid. I'm going to pick Scream 3 because I love that movie.
You know, I watched Scream. I watched Scary Movie a couple nights ago, whatever, and I still laugh quite a bit. It's such a stupid movie. I'm trying to think what I've actually seen. He's done so much stuff, dude. Do you remember how many movies he's done in the 80s? He was doing back. He was like a Rolling Stones freaking 83, 83, 83. He did 3 movies.
He was in Stone Cold. Remember that movie?
With Brian Bosworth?
Yeah.
I'm going Stone Cold. So I'm from Oklahoma, guys, so boomers sooner on that. There you go. Florida State, I'm in Oklahoma.
I think I just gave you the victory. I'm going to go The Right Stuff.
Yeah, you can have it. I don't even want my 5th one. You gave me Stone Cold. That's all I need.
Wait, you already got 5. That was your 5th one, so you don't want Stone Cold?
Hey, that's what I'm saying. No, I'll give you 5.
Oh, he was in Close Encounters of the Third Kind. Damn it. All right.
I'm telling you, Stone Cold's going to do it for me.
All right, so
just saying.
Final thoughts about this movie, man. Final thoughts about AVP.
Final thoughts, again,
one that you haven't
for
said.
both.
Come up with a new final thought.
Damn, dude. Final thoughts are always when you go back to the first one. You're making this tough.
Do you want me to get the guitar out? I'll play a little song. You can sing over it.
Lining me up.
Yeah, line me up. No, but man, thank you so much, man. Thank you for much coming on, and I think you nailed it, dude. This is a fun movie. It's not Oscar worthy, but it's fun, right?
Very fun for me. You know, not to get all sentimental or whatnot, but you know, known each other for a long time or whatever, and all those folks watching the movies and stuff, you guys can harken back to a movie you saw with a friend or one that kind of connects you to them or whatnot. And sadly, ours is AVP. I wish it was something, you know. Yeah, I was gonna say something good. There you go again, hater.
Yeah.
No, it is what it is. It is good for what it is. That would be my final thought. It is good for what it is. And I appreciate being on your podcast, dude, and I had a really good time. Again, to the audience, his knowledge of random stuff, and it should be the other word, but random stuff is unparalleled to anybody I know. And he didn't pay me to say it, although I should be asked to get paid for the money. Dude's reviews are amazing, Rotten Tomatoes and stuff, and it's actually really cool to see you succeed like you have, Mark. Well done, my friend.
Appreciate it, man.
Yes.
And you know what? Like, I won't pay you for those nice comments, but I'll let you have full ownership of the AVP DVD that you never gave me half for.
And for the record, everyone heard it, and this is why I came on this podcast specifically. I didn't want to have to pay him the money, and it looks like I accomplished that goal. On that note, I'm going to practice my guitar, and actually I'm not, because I'm never going to play it again. Thank you for reminding me of my C+, and you have a wonderful, wonderful night, Mr. Mark Hoffmeyer.
So for me, Mark Hoffmeyer, for Tony, 9.5 Benson, this is Movies, Films, and Flicks. We'll see you next week.